So, hello everyone. So, myself Gautam here. I'll be mathematics faculty for IIT JEE mains examination, both for CBSE 11th and 12th, as well as the JEE mains. All right. Yes. And apart from that, meanwhile, we will be solving questions from other competitive examinations like BITSAT, VIEEE, etc. All right. So, let's start with a chapter that is quadratic quadratic functions and equations. All right. Now, where do we find the mention of this chapter? Usefulness of this chapter, basically, in uh, in a chapter called application of derivatives. All right, derivatives. All right, in a concept called increasing as well as decreasing functions. All right, this is in RTL. All right, then in integrals. In integrals again and application of integrals. That is also at 12. Now, from these two, you can expect not less than 8 to 10 questions in the JEE mains. All right, 8 to 10 questions in JEE mains, and these are indirect questions. Directly, yes, in the chapter quadratic equation itself, and more importantly, the complex numbers. All right, complex numbers are extension of the quadratic function itself. All right. So now any function, any f of x is equal to y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c is a quadratic function. All right. It becomes equal when it is equal to 0. We call it as quadratic equation. Now let's see here. Uh, a should not be equal to 0. This is one of the most important characteristic. For example, gentlemen, see here 2x square plus 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. Now, how do we come to know that it is a quadratic equation? Look at this. This is the root, the degree. Degree is the highest power of x. Here it is 2, right? When it is 2, gentlemen, when it is 2, it is quadratic. All right, when it is 3, it is cubic. When it is 4, it is biquadratic. When it is 1, it is linear. Okay, and largely you have studied linear equations. For example, y is equal to mx plus c. All right, you see this here. If you put uh, in this equation, if you put a is equal to 0, this will simply become bx plus c. It is of this form only, so it is a straight line, right? Now, then how does the curve? How does the curve? Ax square plus bx plus c, look like? It something looks like this. Right? Okay, let me take a simple curve. Simple curve y is equal to x square. Gentlemen, look at this, very, 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 very important. Okay, y is equal to x square. Right, this is my x square curve. Now, similarly, let's look at how does the curve y is equal to x square plus 1 look like. See here, x square plus 1. See, it has shifted by 1 unit. It has shifted by 1 unit. This is my x square plus 1. So similarly, what happens when it is downwards? It is opening downwards. Okay, so it is minus 1, right? So this is my x square minus 1 curve. Now, what happens if it is something like this? Now, y is equal to x minus 1 the whole square. Very simple, very simple. See here, earlier it was here, right? Now it has shifted 1 unit towards the right. All right, where does x minus 1 collapse? Where does x minus 1 collapse? That is at x is equal to 1, right? So, मान लीजिए x is equal to 1. So, here it will be, right? Here it will be. So, this is the curve. This is my x minus 1 curve. Similarly, okay, see, you need to be able to make a judgment about, okay, or visualize the graph, at least if not the overall graph. What is its overall framework? Is it increasing or is it decreasing? Now, what do you mean by increasing, decreasing? We will discuss as we go further. All right. Now, see, before rushing into this, you need to know that now this topic has its motivation. Okay, motivation from our real life applications, that is parabola. All right. Say when A throws a ball towards B, all right, under the force of gravity, it takes a parabolic path, right? This parabola is what is this quadratic curve. All right. You are studied in physics. All right. If you know the quadratic functions thoroughly, you can apply in in vectors. Okay, in 3D geometry. All right, and increasing and decreasing functions. All right, and in your engineering, especially the visualization of complex functions. All right, so it's very important. So let's go now. Similarly, gentlemen, similarly, how does x plus 1 whole square is equal to y? How does this curve look like? How does this curve look like? Look at this. So it looks something like this. All right. So where does our where does our function, that is x is equal to -1? See, this is my point, -1. This is where it collapses, right? Now the point where f of x is equal to ax square plus bx plus c becomes equal to 0. We call it as gentlemen, roots. All right, roots. And what are they? Basically, they are x-intercept. All right, x-intercepts of the function. Now, something very important you need to see here. Something very important. See here. So this is my uh, the x-axis. This is my y-axis. My quadratic function can look in any one of the six forms. Something very important. Please note it. It can look in any of the six forms. Yes, in the mains examination, you will be having quadratic function only of these forms. All right. Okay. So see here, the quadratic function can be like the parabolic curve. It can be. Say, I'll draw a smaller one, something like this. It can be something like. It can be something like this. So if you are able to, gauge the difference, gentlemen, if you're able to gauge the difference, okay, you'll be really doing justice to your preparation. All right, another curve, another curve, another curve. All right, it can be opening upwards, it can be opening downwards. All right, okay, so this one. Now, but as we discussed here, as we discussed, the roots, right? Where does this curve, this is a quadratic curve, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now, where does this curve touch x-axis? Now, those are the roots. See, roots are not existing, right? Roots not existing. Here, roots are there, but they are equal. Here, roots are there. Say, मान लीजिए this is alpha, this is beta, है ना? This is alpha and this is beta, and you can see that it touches at 2 points. Now, sir, why is it maximum 2 points? Why can't the curve be something like this? Alright, why can't it touch at 3 points? That is the fundamental theorem of algebra, which states that any polynomial, alright, देखिए f of x is equal to a n x raised to n, a n minus 1 x raised to n minus 1, alright, a n minus 2 x raised to n minus 2, so on and so forth. Okay, it is arranged in terms of its degrees, will have n roots, alright, n roots. It can be real, it can be imaginary. All right. Now, what is imaginary? We will discuss as we go further. Okay. And it can be both as well. All right. I mean to say some set of roots. Say if it has 5 roots, okay, in that three can be real, two can be imaginary. All right, gentlemen. Now, for a quadratic equation, see here, this is a case. All right. So let me redo this in a more. Okay. See here, ax square plus bx plus c. Now, uh, let us try to take a simple curve uh, before rushing into this, let me tell you what are the roots. Say let alpha and beta be the two roots. All right. So x should be equal to, I think, the formula, famous formula you are familiar, minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So one constitutes the positive constitutes one of the roots and negative constitutes another root. So accordingly, there are two roots. All right, gentlemen. Now, sir, uh, what is the nature of roots, gentlemen? Nature of roots. All right. So you can definitely tell whether the roots are real or imaginary according to the value that is present within the square root. Now look at this. This value minus b square minus 4ac. All right, or b square minus 4ac. Gentlemen, just observe this. Just observe this. If it is greater than 0, all right, see here. So minus b plus root of any value. I'll call it as d, and d is a common notation, and it is called discriminant. It is called discriminant. All right. Say this is one is my alpha, another is, and let me take it as beta minus b minus root of d divided by 2a. All right. Now, sir, अगर b square minus 4ac, अगर मेरे पास, if at all I get to be greater than 0, then roots are real as well as they are different. Now, what do you mean by this? Here, say you get here, say something like 2. All right. So minus b plus root 2, and here minus root 2. See, they both are different roots. है ना? Similarly, similarly, if b square minus 4ac beta, if it is become equal to 0, then this term will collapse. Then alpha is equal to beta is equal to, if you can see this, if this becomes 0, so it is minus minus b by 2a, right? So both roots are equal. All right, both roots are equal. Similarly, gentlemen, similarly, now you should be able to tell, sir, what happens when it becomes less than 0. This is the most important part. Now, the moment it becomes less than 0, then roots do not exist. All right. Now, sir, why did we why should we know uh, learn this aspect? Now comes the, that is the most important part. See here, I had shown you earlier the graphs, right? The graphs, right? See here, gentlemen, you can see this. You can see this. It's wonderful, very very interesting, interesting aspects here. This is my curve. All right. If you analyze this curve, if you analyze this curve, okay, here this is touching x-axis, touching x-axis at two different points. This is my roots. This is my root. All right. Now, what are this one? This curve ax square plus bx plus c. All right. Now, if you can see this, uh, uh, this point, this point is the minimum point of the function. Minimum point of f of x. मतलब the function is not falling below this point. Below this point, say मान लीजिए this is my point C. All right, very very important aspect. All right, now, sir, now, if you look at this curve, it is opening upward. There are some curves which are opening downwards also. How we will be able to see it as we go further? Now, take another case. Take another case, gentlemen. Take another case where we look at this curve here. Alright, here alpha is equal to beta. Both are at one point itself. Alright, say for example, at that time I shown you y is equal to x minus 1 the whole square. Here both the roots, that is x is equal to 1 comma 1. There are two roots. Alright, now another scenario, gentlemen, another scenario is where the curve doesn't touch at all. All right, this is where the b square minus 4ac, which we called as d, is less than 0. So now concluding the overall idea, look at this here. Okay, here a is greater than 0. Here d is also greater than 0. the curve opens upwards. And sir, what is the minimum point? For now, you can just try to remember this point is minus x divided by, sorry, minus b by 2a. This is the least value that this function attains. All right. Now, sir, what about this one? Alpha is equal to beta. Again, here d is equal to 0. And since it is opening upwards beta, this is also a greater than 0. All right. Here, again, a is greater than 0, but d will come out to be less than 0. That is the reason it is not in, it's the roots are not real. It is in, imaginary plane. Now, how does the imaginary plane look like? All those curiosities will be addressed when we are doing the complex numbers. All right. Now, let us uh, consider some important scenarios. Okay, that is, say, uh, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, a quadratic function f of x or y is equal to 0. All right. Now, sir, if at all I say alpha is equal to minus b plus or plus root d divided by 2a, and beta is equal to minus b minus root of d by 2a, right? Now, say, gentlemen, alpha plus beta is equal to c. Because if you add, the denominator will be common. All right, minus b, so it would be minus b by a, right? So this is the formula for sum of roots of any quadratic equation. Yes, you have already, this is very familiar to most of the students. Sum of roots. Similarly, you check with the product of roots, gentlemen. Sir, minus b by root d by 2a. Okay, minus b by minus root d by 2a. Okay, see here, b square. See, minus b square. All right, minus d. All right, minus d by 4a square, right? 4a square. Now, if you look at this, okay, if you look at this b square minus, what is b beta? d is b square minus 4ac. That's all. देखो 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 देखो, b square cancel हो जाता है. Okay, 4a cancel हो जाता है, 4a square, sorry. So it will come out to be c by a. This is the formula for product of roots. All right. Now, now you might have been familiar with the, concepts in, yes. Now, let us uh, uh, try to solve some of the questions that have appeared in our past papers in our JEE mains examination. Okay, just for the demonstration, as we go further, we will be analyzing, most of the problems in detail. Now, this is how does, how does the board, the the IIT board ask questions, right? Now, if you see this, uh, this is a 2021 question, gentlemen. Uh, so e raised to 4x, e raised to 4x. So before this, let me tell you something called exponential function. Exponential functions. See, again, I'm telling you, quadratic function, JEE mains में कैसे पूछता है? They'll mix it with, other chapters. All right, they'll mix, trigonometry with quadratic functions. So you'll get a wholesome idea only once you cover the syllabus one round and solve more and more, questions given in our materials. All right. Now, if you can see this, e raised to okay, e raised to x. Because the graph of these functions, the graph of these type of functions will look something very, 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 very something like this. All right. So this is my e raised to x function. मतलब देखो इधर है e raised to 0, that is 1, right? E raised to 0 is 1. Now, say in general, okay, I have given e raised to x. Take any a raised to x also. This is also an exponential function only. So if at all you take, say, 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to minus 1, 2 raised to minus 2. See this? This is 2, this is 4, this is 1 by 2, this is 1 by 4. You can see that nowhere the function is attaining a negative value, right? Negative value. है ना? So this graph, this curve, all right, or this curve doesn't have any negative values. It doesn't come in the negative y-axis, right? All right, so it's always positive. This is one of the important characteristic of any exponential function. All right, how it is related to logarithmic functions? Yes, you can solve logarithm function. Exponential functions can be understood more simplified manner using using log functions. And again, logarithm is not covered largely in our books. Okay, we will discuss that in detail during our the GE classes. Now, so let's look at how to solve this problem in a more simplified manner. Now, sir, let us try to take e power x as say some t. Look at this, sir. T raised to 4, है ना? 2 t raised to 4 and t raised to t raised to 3 minus 4t square minus t plus 1 is equal to 0, right? Now, uh, let us try to divide this by, if at all, sir, how to recognize the pattern, right? See, what are the coefficients? We'll discuss all these hints. All right, short tricks. All right, देखिए, इधर 1 है coefficient, -1 है, -4 है, again -1 है, 1 है. All right, see here. Okay, we call the roots to be symmetric, or the coefficients to be symmetric. Now, uh, divide during such cases, we need to divide it by t square, or the middle term. All right. Now, so let's see if you divide what happens. If you divide what happens, चलो, t square minus ये कितना आता है? Minus t minus 4 minus so this would be 1 by t, right? 1 by t plus 1 by t square. है ना? Now try to group this, gentlemen. Try to group this. T square plus 1 by t square. Okay. Minus t. Okay. Plus 1 by t. Okay. See, does it look something familiar? Yes, it looks something familiar. How? Because this one क्या कर सकते हैं हम? T plus 1 by t the whole square minus 2 लिख सकते हैं. All right. Sir, how do I know this? Yes, you can look at this. You can look at this. Uh, so let me try to change the color of the ink. है ना? देखिए, p plus 1 by t का whole square क्या होता है? T square plus 1 by t square plus 2. So you bring this plus 2, so this term will remain. That is what I have written. All right. Yes. Now let us go back. Minus. Beta देखो 1 by t minus 4 is equal to 0. So देखो, now you can apply, sir. Can I apply? Take this as some y square. Y square minus y minus 6 is equal to 0. Oh my God! It looks like a very simple quadratic equation. Okay, where I can find the roots even without using the formula. So what is it? By splitting the middle term. देखो हाँ, y plus 2 लिख सकते हैं, 0, है ना? So y, सर y is equal to 3 भी हो सकता है, y is equal to -2 भी हो सकता है. Alright, sir, y is equal to 3 मतलब t plus 1 by t is equal to 3. Alright, देखिए, t square minus 3t plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, t plus 1 by t plus 1 by t is equal to -2. Alright, t square plus 2t plus 1 is equal to 0. Oh my God, this looks very familiar to you all. Sir, t plus 1 the whole square is equal to 0. Alright, t is equal to -1. Now let us look at, see here, what is t? E raised to x, right? E raised to x. That is what our assumption, right, gentlemen? Okay, that was one of the assumption. Okay, so see, all these are not actually mathematics. This is very simple calculation. Asli mathematics होता है recognizing the pattern of the question, visualizing that. All right. Now t is equal to -1 हो सकता है क्या? We just now discussed, sir, exponential functions can never have negative values, right? Can never have negative values, right? So it can never have negative values. So this is rejected. All right. So very important. See, look at the question. Look at the question. The number of real roots of the equation. All right. Now, so how to solve this? Now you can use our quadratic formula. Very simple. Sir, minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac. All right, minus 4ac. All right, divided by 2. है ना? Now again you can see, are there any real roots for this? Okay. Yes, there are real roots. Okay, so 3 plus or minus, again, you don't have to solve because they are not asking us the roots. They're asking just the number of real roots, right? 3 are plus or minus, they could root 5 by 2. Is it this a real number? There are two real numbers, definitely. Hence, the answer for this one would be, yes, this was a numerical question. All right, the number of real roots would be 2. All right, yes. Now, let me brief you about how we are going to, cover the syllabus for the for the for your upcoming course. All right, all right, gentlemen. So you can see this. This is a chapter which requires both first year and second year. So we'll be doing largely, okay, largely most of the topics of second year also will be clubbed together because board has simplified it because the syllabus becomes too vast. All right, but for the in the examination they'll ask you the combined questions. So we need to do this in detail. So this will take. Okay, let me discuss what are the core chapters. Okay, core chapters would be, okay, complex numbers, trigonometry, relation function, and and sequence and series. देखिए gentlemen, these four chapters ना, these four chapters will be covering it in around 2.5 months. 2.5 months. All right, approximately. Okay, as discussed by the institute. Okay, maximum we will have 2 classes per week. All right. Oh, no, sorry. Minimum it will be 2 classes per week. Now, sir, after this, this chapters. Okay. Then we'll be shifting to the most important chapter, that is limit and derivatives. It has continuity in our next year as well. All right. This is the heart and soul of what we call it as calculus. All right. So, what we call the so-called draconian chapter for some students, and some students find it very easy to score. I would not say very easy, but it is easy to score. Understanding, it takes time. But once you get hands on with it, that chapter can give you a lot of rewards. All right, and in fact, JEE almost 40% of the questions come directly from the calculus. Directly from the calculus. All right. Matlab, they ask in such a way that it is mixed with trigonometry, it is mixed with sequence and series. So you need to know the entire calculus part. All right. Then, sir, the limits and derivatives, statistics, probability. Uh, then comes the geometry part. All right, geometry part. That is these three chapters. These three chapters. All right. This will take another 3 to 3.5 months. All right, 3 to 3.5 months. Then, बेटा ये छोटा छोटा चैप्टर है, छोटा छोटा चैप्टर परमुटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन very important है, but it is a standalone chapter. मतलब next year you will not have much coverage, but in JEE, yes, good number of handful number of questions come. All right, now the quadratic functions that we saw, okay, approximately 2 to 3 questions directly. All right, apart from that, indirect questions I told you in the beginning itself, in application of derivatives, in application of integrals, okay, they tend to ask. Okay, then comes the binomial theorem and these two. Yes, so overall the syllabus would be completed in approximately 6 to 7 months. All right, and gentlemen, along with this, the books that I'll be covering would be, first is the basic book, that is NCRT. All right, NCRT, and a very important book given by or published by CBSE itself, that is NCRT Exemplar. All right. If see from NCRT to JEE, it will be approximately say 6 to 7 times. But from exemplar, I'm talking about the difficulty level. From exemplar, it will be around 2 times. All right. So it will. So if at all you are, starting with your JE preparation, keep exemplar as your basic book so that transition towards JE problems will become smooth. All right. Then, then our classroom test series. All right, test series as well as materials. Now, apart from the exhaustive or class notes, everything will be shared, regularly to the students soon, immediately after the class, along with certain assignments. Those assignments as well as regular test series. All right. Then, last, no sir, I still want to be exhausting my preparation. We can refer Cengage. Yes, we will be solving questions from Cengage, and one Mr. Vikas Gupta published, okay, the black book. All right, black. In fact, black book does not have solutions, but I'll be, solving those questions, in a, in depth for the class students. Yes. So overall, for finishing the first year syllabus, okay, from the JE mains perspective, in fact, black book has advanced questions also, which definitely we will solve. Okay, because advanced will not be as, no, transitioning from mains to advanced will not be hard. All right. Now, so this is about our classroom. Rest all the other things. The management will inform you about, the once you enroll in the batches. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much. God bless you.